on Brock. I mean, because when you look at him in totality, he's still making some incredible throws. Those throws to Kittle last week were phenomenal. Like, he made some really good throws, but he's had a couple moments now in back-to-back games where you're thinking, you know what, you just like, that's the thing I've always said, Steve, so hard about being a great, very good, if not great quarterback. You got to make those throws and do those things, and you got to do them without the picks, and you got to do them consistently. It's not like do it 2 out of 3 weeks. It's like do it 6 out of 7 weeks every single year for a long period of time. So, okay, he's obviously not there yet, but he's still he can make a lot of those throws. But what do you make of kind of the mistakes in the critical times? Is that something to worry about, or is it, hey, he's young? It's still it's early in his career. He's just getting to the first year of his career.
Critical mistakes by the quarterback are always, that's where PTSD is formed by that kind of stuff. So you do not want that, and that's just, we're all the same. Every quarterback's the same. But let's go back to Brock came to us, and we didn't know it until we saw it really a little bit in the summer, but then obviously when we took over the Dolphins and then on, that he came from this. Remember I talked about the Force, Star Wars Force, the presence, on-field presence. He came kind of fully formed. Most guys that are going to be great at it or good at it kind of have to work at it a little bit, but he kind of came fully formed. Like he came out of college really far ahead of the developmental process for NFL quarterbacks. And so that's the part that we talk about every week that allows him to have tight guardrails. We expect that, we're not expecting really terrible football games or, blood everywhere. Like, we expect him to kind of hold it together and be pretty efficient. The one thing I notice about Brock after watching him just over and over again is that when his back foot hits, the ball's coming, and it's coming with purpose, and it's coming aspirationally a little bit. And so he's going to have throws that just don't quite meet the, everyone else doesn't meet the aspiration of his timing and because his, look at it this way. He's, as the positives, he, 0 to 15 yards. He's 13th in the league, and 15 to 40, he's 3rd in the league, which is really, that's a heck of a stat, right? A young player, 15 to 40 yards, is 3rd in the league. That's where the pros hang out, right? That's where, and so that part of it, I don't think is going to go away. I think the end of the season, probably end of his career, he's probably going to have, be one of the top throwers in that mid-range because the ball's coming out. He's got a plan for it, and that's, and his arm can answer those questions. Now, interestingly, plus 40 throwing, the long throws, the arching throws, the deep posts, the sideline throws where you get a lot of cheap yards from pass interference, especially end of games, can put pressure on defenses, stretching the field. He hasn't had a throw. Not one. One of 2 guys in the league that have not had a throw over 40 yards. And so if that's going to be and I think that's probably who we're going to see. And so we're missing that little element that if you look at Jalen Hurts or you look at Joe Burrow, you look at Josh Allen, you look at Patrick Mahomes, plus 40 throws. I didn't see the stat on that one, but I'm assuming it's, pretty prevalent. And that's where they get those cheap pass interference, end of game, kind of big chunky stuff that happens, and every once in a while one of those big plays. So if that's who Brock's positive side is, then he needs that efficiency. And so especially at the end of games, he knows it too. When he threw every pick he's had, you're like, I'm sure, because I could sense it with him. He's like, oh, that's ridiculous. What am I thinking? Like, he's that smart. Like, he doesn't come. A lot of guys throw picks at the end of games and they're like, what happened? Well, if you don't know what happened, then we're in deep trouble, bro, because you're the one with the ball in your hand. But I'm telling you, a lot of quarterbacks come to the sidelines after making mistakes, and coach will say, what did you see? They're making it up. Literally like, whoa, I thought the linebacker went deep. Like, their mind went blank. That's not Brock. Brock is going to come to the sidelines and go, crap. I thought he was going to break earlier. I thought, I saw every bit of it. Nothing ever happens, to my mind, that Brock doesn't see. Yeah. And so those mistakes at the end of the game, he is an aspirational thrower. The ball's going to come out. I think he's unafraid, especially in that range that he's really good at. and that's a dangerous range, and you can get into jams. And so I don't think it's a theme. I don't think I was like at the end of his career we'll say, oh my gosh, he end of game interceptions really caused him that much grief. I don't think that's the theme. I think he'll clean that up. I'm not worried about it. So there's a lot of positives, but I don't think we should say, oh, he's young, because in a way we can't have it both ways. He's actually came to us pretty fully formed, and so his presence and the things that we say for young quarterbacks making dumb mistakes, I don't think he makes dumb mistakes. I don't think, even at his age, I think he makes mistakes, which everyone makes, but I don't think they're dumb ones. I think that he might have been fooled. He might have been, overthought it, but it wasn't what is normal for young quarterbacks is, I have no idea what just happened.
Right.
Hopefully we'll grow out of that era of our lives when we have, and some quarterbacks never get out of it. And I won't mention names, but I have a few in my mind that are like, they never really got out of that. They were pretty productive, but they never got out of that way of when something goes haywire and then what happened. I'm not sure. I got overwhelmed. I'm not sure. So that's the big Brock Purdy kind of breakdown in my mind.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, because I'm with you. Like you're saying, Brock is not. You're saying like he's not totally inexperienced based on the number of throws.
Yeah, no, I just saying he's young.
Right, I'm with you.
He did play 4 years in college. And you can say that, but he also came to us with this headiness, this guile, this sense of presence that was outsized for his experience.
Yeah.
And so with that, I don't think we should say, oh, he's young. Yeah, he is, and we should make some space for it. But that's not the problem. The problem is maybe too aspirational, and it has to be like the risk. The problem. Okay, let's see if I can boil down that 5-minute soliloquy that was a bunch of. I could hear you falling asleep.
No, I'm not actually. I had a follow up to that, and then we're back into this. I was just referencing for anybody who's just joining us. It is Steve Young with us on the Yuma guest line, because I agree with you on the inexperience. I was going to ask. This is the first time as a starting quarterback he's faced a bye week here. They had a week 9 last year. They're coming off a 3-game losing streak. What's the best use of his time throughout a bye week like this?
I always say, Kyle, let's go over it again. Shanahan, his dad, Mike, let's go over it again. Shanahan, and it's Brock. Let's go over it again. Shanahan. I mean, Purdy. He loves. That's what he loves. That's why Kyle loves him, is because he's willing to do that work. And so I hope that he takes a week off. You know what I mean? Because his nature is to go out and walk through the mistakes. I'm sure he's walked through every throw that he's made a mistake on and tried to rethink what he did and what not to do the next time. Because you got to be careful. It's not a science project. Most of it out there playing, it's an art project. And yet there's science underneath it that you've got to make and pay attention to. But so much of it is in motion, in game, and so you don't want to overthink things. So take a week off. Let your mind rest, because his mind's going to be tested over the next couple of months. I hope he takes a week off.